Greetings, everyone. This is me again, Zahra, ex-Muslim, ex-Shia. As usual, come to help the Muslims see for themselves and decide. Now we were on this blasphemy thing. Alusi on Surah 33, 37 has analyzed a part of this ayat properly, and according to how I would analyze it. And thus coming to the conclusion that Prophet Muhammad earned the displeasure of Allah. Concealing, so he told Zaid, right, to keep his wife and be mindful of Allah. Some put fear, but the Arabic word is actually taqwa, mindful of Allah, not fear, khawf. So this is ayat, Surah 33, ayat 37. O Prophet, call to mind when you said to him, whom Allah had favored and you had favored, cleave to your wife and fear Allah. Or be mindful of Allah. So he's telling Zaid Prophet Muhammad is telling Zaid to keep your wife and be mindful of Allah. And then Allah tells us that Prophet Muhammad concealed within yourself, right, for fear of people what Allah was to reveal, although Allah has greater right that you fear Him. So on this part, Alusi says, Prophet Muhammad should not have concealed within himself, right? Since he was informed by Allah that the divorce would take place. So he should not have ordered, right, Zaid to keep his wife and be mindful of Allah. That's so here Alusi puts it that Prophet Muhammad in this way, and succinctly put, Prophet Muhammad earned the displeasure of Allah, right? So I've done this in my previous live stream, and just in other words explaining again if you have not understood from my previous live stream on this. And so about blasphemy also, they say to us that we blaspheme against Prophet Muhammad. Even the religious scholars on this ayat and this part of the ayat have found out, some of them, that Prophet Muhammad earned the displeasure of Allah. They came to this conclusion, right? Because Prophet Muhammad should not have told Zaid to keep his wife and fear Allah or be mindful of Allah. And concealing, so concealing within himself, that's another analysis, that whether he loved Zainab and he wanted to marry her, so concealing within himself this about her. The Ibn Qadir says those who say this, like Zuhri, Bakr, the majority of commentators, let's read this, Zuhri, Bakr ibn al-Ala al-Kushairi and Qadi Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi have adopted this very tafsir. That is, the mention of the thing he was keeping to himself was but this intention of marriage under divine revelation. Counter to this, there are narrations. So these people say it was about he knew the divorce would take place, intention, and wanting to marry Zainab. Prophet Muhammad was interested in Zainab after Zaid would divorce her and all this, and all the required things about Idda and all that would be carried out, right? And then he would marry her. So counter to this, there are narrations in which the words, and you were concealing in your heart, have been explained as love for Zainab, Prophet Muhammad's love for Zainab. So But about this tafsir, Ibn Kathir has said we did not like to mention these narrations as none of these is sound. So, that none of these is sound, but it's from their Muslim religious scholars, the Sunni, or not the Shia. Okay, so Muslim or Sunni Muslim religious scholars. But the narrations are not sound, so it's not sound. The hadith is not sound. Okay, so this also, okay, but he knew that the divorce would take place and he wanted to marry her, right? According to the divine revelation, something not appropriate. Then, like, also, their own religious scholars here have said that on this ayat, Surah 33, ayat 37, what the Holy Prophet said was correct and sound in its place. But after having learned about the event as it would transpire through divine revelation, the divorce, and then he was supposed to marry the divorce between Zainab and Zayd, and then Holy Prophet was supposed to marry Zainab, right? So that through the divine revelation, and after the intention of nikah with Sayyidah Zainab having emerged in his heart, this advice of not divorcing given to Sayyidina Zaid by Prophet Muhammad had remained at the level of a sort of formal expression of good wishes, not from the heart, or not really meaning it, or since he knew the divorce would take place, the Prophet knew, right? So it's like a hypocritical way of saying it. This what I was thinking of, but I didn't have words to put long time ago when I came across this ayat, right? Surah 33 and 37. And now thank goodness for the Sunni tafsir, Muslim religious scholars tafsir on this. So this is from Ma'arif al-Quran, something not appropriate to the station of a messenger of Allah. Particularly so because along with it included therein was the apprehension of taunts from the people. So he moreover feared the taunts of the people, Prophet Muhammad. And we don't bring in Hazrat Musa in this, Moses felt afraid, and we said, don't be afraid, surely thou will overcome. So that Quran ayat we don't bring here in this circumstance, in this ayat, for this part of the ayat. Particularly so because along with it included therein was the apprehension of taunts from the people. Okay, I read this, sorry. Therefore, in the cited verse, yani ayat, the admonition was revealed in the words, which mean, so there was an admonition from Allah. Like Allah disapproved of what, the reason why, that Prophet Muhammad told Zaid, keep your wife and fear Allah. So Allah's admonition against Prophet Muhammad, you get it? Disapproval, chastisement. So you, in these words, you were concealing in your heart what Allah was going to reveal when the information about his marriage with Sayyidah Zainab was revealed to him. He shouldn't have told Zaid to. And also, when therefore in the cited verse ayat, the admonition from Allah against Prophet Muhammad was revealed in these words, which mean you were concealing in your heart what Allah was going to reveal. When he said to Zaid, after he said to Zaid, keep your wife and be mindful of Allah, Allah admonished him, right? The majority of commentators in this I read from Ma'arif al-Quran, so I've put it in my notes thanks to Quran.com and other websites, Islamic websites about this. Then, of course, he didn't even come up to the station of a messenger of Allah. It wasn't appropriate for a messenger of Allah to do this. Something not appropriate to the station of a messenger of Allah. Ma'arif al-Quran tafsir on Surah 33, ayat 37, right? And another thing is the way Allama Alusi about this part of the ayat puts it in his Ruh al-Mani, if you've ever read it, Sunnis, has also given the same meaning of it. So you wouldn't tell us that we are blaspheming, because Alusi analyzed this ayat, and as I analyzed it myself, understanding it fully, then, I objected to it. Definitely it's not right for a prophet to tell Zaid, keep your wife in fear, be mindful of Allah, when he was concealing, when he was informed, when he knew that the divorce would take place by divine revelation. So keeping Zaid in the darkness and all this. And here Alusi puts it well, right? So Prophet Muhammad, he says, this is an expression of displeasure on abandoning the better course, meaning Prophet Muhammad gained the displeasure of Allah here. Now you're going to tell us this, we have blasphemed also again. When I spoke on this ayat against Prophet Muhammad, blaspheming our Prophet, blaspheming. So please do your research if you haven't. Then if you haven't done it, don't come. So informing you Muslims, the Muslims who come here putting bakwas kar rahe hain, nonsense. Even the Shia saying it like this and bringing in blasphemy also against us apostates, not only apostasy. So now, you see, this is how Alusi has put it here. This is an expression of displeasure on abandoning the better course, which was that the Prophet should have kept quiet. Now they are saying what the Prophet should have done. Kept quiet, or should have told Zaid to be as he liked. To do as he liked. The displeasure amounted to this. So this is the verse now. Why did you tell Zaid? This is Allah telling Prophet Muhammad, why did you tell Zaid to keep his wife, whereas I had informed you beforehand that Zainab would be included among your wives? So this is what they found out, and conclusively put and succinctly put by Allama Alusi. And maybe all of them, even, this is about him. So how Imam Zain al-Abidin puts it. But when Zaid, that it was actually, he was just, okay, let me just read it, yeah. I can't explain it succinctly. But when Zaid complained about her to him, the Prophet admonished him to fear Allah and keep his wife. No, be mindful of Allah and keep his wife. But anyways, and this Allah said to his Prophet, I'd informed you that I would give Zainab to you, not you to you in marriage. So there's a problem here. This is Sunni Tafsir on Surah 33 at 37, but they've even taken Imam Zain al-Abidin. This is Imam Zain by Imam Zain al-Abidin, Ali bin Hussein, the son of Imam Hussein. Oh my God, right? So Allah had informed them. See, Shias, you might want to take this hadith on Surah 33, your Imam Zain al-Abidin's hadith. Maybe not, maybe yes. Depends on your research, right? So this, and Ma'arif al-Quran, so this from myislam.org, Alusi's own words, I think. This is, quotation, he says, quotation, this is an expression of displeasure, meaning from Allah to Prophet Muhammad. Yeah, so please see how your religious scholars have analyzed this, read your books and then come and say things against apostates and those who have examined and they know, they have studied properly the Quran ayat. Even your own have put it, Sunnis, at least Sunni, Shia, forget it. They didn't go into detail about this. But their Imam has. So if they're going to take this hadith from, which is found in the Sunni, the Islamic sources, which the Sunnis take, not the Shias. If they want to take this, it's up to you, Shias. So, this is for the 12 Shias. This is the 4th Imam who was in Karbala, Imam Sajjad. Right? And I already knew there was hanky-panky here, dishonesty, and why he should be preparing Zed. Anyways, how he's made Allah caricature, I don't know, Surah 33 ayat 36, the surah, the ayat before this, ayat 37, also like Allah using Zainab and Zaid for his, now we find out in 37, the next ayat, and that divorce would take place, but they're forced to marry, and that Zainab doesn't get along, but she's supposed to keep the command of Allah with Zaid in marriage, right? Taking 36 ayat of the surah. And then here Allah is displeased, but don't even agree to what Allah did in Surah 33 ayat 36 with the messenger of Allah, with his messenger. And both of these ayats ridiculous. Moreover, but I was on the blasphemy thing, that don't tell us that we're doing blasphemy. We've done proper studying, research also. We've studied this properly. And this is the conclusion I came to, and this is what I thought of, right? Objecting to all these points that they've put forth. Alusi has said it directly. This is an expression of displeasure of Allah. Here in Quran.com, Marif al-Quran again, tafsir of this ayat, he doesn't even come up to the station of Messenger of Allah and the cause of divine displeasure. Quran.com, tafsir, Marif al-Quran. A question arises here as to why the Holy Prophet chose to conceal this matter, which became the cause of divine displeasure, only to avoid the taunts of a hostile people. So this also. So Alusi puts there that Prophet Muhammad, which I found in Al-Islam, no, sorry, that's Shia, My Islam, this Sunni, myislam.org, tafsir on Surah 33 ayat 37, that's like, why would Prophet Muhammad tell Zaid to keep his wife and be mindful of Allah? Thus, this is expression, why did you tell Zaid to keep his wife? Right? Keep his wife. Whereas I had informed you beforehand that Zainab would be included among your wives. So Prophet Muhammad abandoning the better course, which was that the Prophet should have kept quiet, or should have told Zaid to do as he liked, or should have told him that, divorce is going to take place. So just be preparing him, for God's sakes, not to work for it. It's like making two ends meet, which are not going to meet, North Pole and South Pole. Telling him to keep his wife and fear Allah. तो कुछ दाल में काला लगता है, like, sorry, that's in Urdu. I don't know what maxim, what to use in English. Dishonest. So gaining the displeasure of Allah here, and then here also like fearing. You see, so this part of the Quran tells you many things, which Alusi has put, and even the same thing in the tafsir, Marif al-Quran, and Quran.com you'll find, they've put a question arises, why did Prophet Muhammad earn the displeasure of Allah? Now you're telling us to accept this Prophet? I don't know why your Muslim religious scholars, classic ones, or in 1800, Alusi, finding this out, still was a Muslim, do you think that Allah has forgiven this Prophet? And he turns in Tawbah, so the Sunni tafsir would be, okay, forgave Prophet Muhammad and the Muhajirin and the Ansar who went with him. My goodness, so here, sorry, I go with the Sunnis who have, but go further even more by leaving. And it's not blasphemy. And you concealed within yourself. So this part is problematic, right? Cleave to your wife and fear Allah. Okay, I'm not going to keep correcting this. Be mindful of Allah. But I did. And you concealed within yourself for fear of people what Allah is to reveal. Although Allah has greater right that you fear Him. He could have told Zaid that, look, these neo-Muslims and maybe the others, I fear that they will go away from this religion because Allah is supposed to change all this using you and Zainab, right? That we can now marry our adopted sons' ex-wives and all this. Believers, make it easy. And I have to practice this, so marry your divorced wife Zainab, my cousin. Moreover, divorced from you. All this. And secretly could have told Zaid this, but he didn't. Like he told the secret to his wife, one wife. In Surah Tahrim, we're told, which ayat is the third? He could have said this also, but he didn't. Kept Zaid in the dark, didn't prepare Zaid, and that's not the way, right? So even your religious scholars, Sunni religious scholars, have completely analyzed it. Shia religious scholars, tafsir commentators haven't. Experts like the Sunnis have. So they came to the conclusion about this part of the ayat, keep your wife and fear Allah, and you concealed within yourself for fear of people what Allah was to reveal, although Allah has greater right that you fear Him. Right? So this it doesn't come to the station that Allah should tell His messenger, although Allah has greater right that you should be mindful or fear Him, be mindful of Him, rather than the people. So this is what I was getting at, telling you earlier on, many years back, when I started this. But who would believe? And please don't bring Surah 2, ayat 235, that, they can conceal it. This is not like this, that there is no blame upon you for that which you allude concerning a proposal to women who are in Iddah perhaps, or after the divorce, or during the separation, divorce and Iddah, for what you conceal within yourselves, right? Alluding concerning a proposal to women, or for what you conceal within yourselves, that you're interested in them and you allude. So there's no blame on you. But here it's different, you see. So you don't bring Surah 2, 235. And not only I am saying it, and the Sunni tafsirs have not missed this, I'm sure. So, but here they're right, this is different. Although they didn't mention it, but this is different. This is a prophet, and Allah has admonished them by saying, you concealed within yourself, and showing His displeasure against Prophet Muhammad. That's what your religious scholars are saying. On Surah 33, Ayat 37, this part. Admonishing Prophet Muhammad like this. And you concealed within yourself for fear of people what Allah was to reveal, although Allah has greater right that you fear Him. So when Zaid had accomplished what he would of her, right, the divorce and the iddah perhaps, and this is how I come. This is how I would like to come to show to the Sunni Muslims and Shia Muslims. The best way to take is like this. Not starting that, he was lustful, and no, not like that. See? The Prophet Muhammad was lustful, and show you a Quran ayat, like some Indian here, atheist or whatever. You see, this is not how I come. And I'm shaking and shivering, and then, and then startled, oh my God. You see, this is complete. This is the way I come. This is the way I choose. This is the way I agree to 100% to help the Muslims leave Islam. And that he's a false prophet. And I don't get carried away. I don't get. And then, look, okay, so what is this? Gaining the displeasure of Allah. Can Allah forgive a prophet? Moreover, I showed you in my previous live stream, remember that ayat also, that if you fabricate sayings about Allah, so most probability is there, right? The probability of this prophet fabricating sayings about Allah, because he can go on saying what Allah never agreed to. Allah didn't agree, meaning he gained the displeasure of Allah. Allah disapproved of him saying that to Zaid. And therefore Allah revealed that you are concealed in this way, and you concealed within yourself for fear of people. You see, Allah gave it to him, the Prophet, like this, revealing to us what? Surah 4, ayat 108. They can hide from men, but they cannot hide from Allah. Meaning they can conceal. The word, this takhfuna, in that form, in this form written here, they can hide from men, these hypocrites and all, whoever wants to hide disbelievers. But they cannot hide from Allah. However, this Allah I don't find true in just the previous ayat from Surah 33 ayat 37, right? Using Zaid and Zainab and Zaid to prove his nonsense, like just this, that you can marry now. Allah has changed the stupid pagan Arab nonsensical custom of adoption. Sorry, I have to use these words. Nonsensical custom of adopting the son like this and not marrying their divorced wives. Why do they have to, the father-in-law, if a divorce takes place? So making it easy for the believers for what? He shouldn't have, right? He should have said, okay, Prophet Muhammad, Zainab was, even then I wouldn't agree, but just, he's a prophet helping Zainab, but why force Zainab to marry even Zaid? And then come up with this new law, changing the pagan Arab custom of adoption and not marrying the adopted son's wife too. And the Prophet was, Zainab was miserable, Allah, Shia tafsir. So, she gained that station then of Ummul Mu'mineen. Ridiculous, nonsensical. Helping her like that. So, Surah 4 ayat 108, they can hide from men, but they cannot hide from Allah, for He is with them, even when they hold nightly councils that are unpleasing, that Allah disapproves of, unpleasing to Allah. So I found this, right? It's not anger, it's not gaining Allah's anger or curse, but unpleasing to Allah. How important this is. This is against hypocrites, disbelievers. Surah 4 ayat 108, they hide. Notice, same word is used here. In Surah 33 ayat 37, you concealed. Allah saying you hid. Same word, tukhfi, written, it's because it's singular for a singular, but for plural, then the Arabic word form changes, tukhfi to takhfuna. Yes, takhfuna. Right? They can hide from men. So, gaining the displeasure of Allah is how important, how terrible is it? It's not the wrath of Allah, it's not the anger of Allah, okay? But gaining the displeasure of Allah. Is Allah supposed to forgive this prophet that your religious scholars went on being Muslims, Muslim believers? Oh my God. So, how terrible is it? It is terrible, gaining the displeasure of Allah. Unpleasing, right? This is not the wrath of Allah, this is not the anger of Allah, but whole nightly counsels that are unpleasing to Allah. Allah encompasses all their doings. So, what is this unpleasing to Allah? How important? It's not very clear here, but Allah is not pleased with them, doesn't approve of their holding nightly councils like this, trying to hide from men, right? What? So the same kind of, okay, however, it is unpleasing what the hypocrites do, or what the disbelievers do, or what the polytheists do. Surah 4, Ayat 109. You pleaded on their behalf in this worldly life. Now look, unpleasing to Allah. But now that Allah is saying against these hypocrites who hide from men, but they cannot hide whatever in their, and even when they hold nightly councils that are unpleasing. So they're hiding from men, whatever they're hiding. But they can't, Allah said, so. And you, who are you? You Muslims. Now, see, let me work it out, sorry. Okay. So you pleaded on their behalf in this worldly life. Who has Prophet Muhammad used? Maybe fabricated ayats to say, oh, Allah forgave me. Although he was displeased here, oh, Alusi found out. Later on in 1800, year 1800. But that no, even Imam Ali couldn't find out. The Muslims at that time couldn't find out. Or didn't put it this way. Because I've scared them so much through Allah fabricating ayats. You know, if you hurt Prophet Muhammad and Allah, Allah puts a curse on you and sends you to hellfire. Right? So how much he scared you that you are defending a prophet who doesn't even come up to your own religious scholars have said that this, oh Moses, you came up to the standard. Right? Moses even killed a man, but he wasn't at that time coming up to the standard that Allah wanted him to come up to. Surah Taha, ayats, right? So now look at you people and even your religious scholars, although they've come so close to like, it's blasphemy. But you know, they couldn't help it, right? They would, at least here they were being honest. Maybe they got fed up here, but then again they covered it up or what? That you don't blame them, your own religious scholars, or you don't do your own research. And now what your religious scholars are giving you, you take it, toba toba. No doubt, doubt in Islam is haram. It is even punishable or what? So, so now look what, what? Your religious scholars, how shall I put it? Surah 4, Ayat 109. You pleaded on their behalf in this worldly life. But who will plead with Allah on their behalf on the day of resurrection? So at least for this, I'm happy to be alive and not executed, penalized, punished. You see, what you Muslims are now led to do, misguided against us, apostates, blaspheme, blaspheme, blaspheme. Right? No, but you can't stop Allah. This is a living miracle, apostates. Ex-Muslims are a living miracle of today on this ayat 401 109. Even when your religious scholars stayed as Muslims, we left Islam. Showing you, look, screencasting. Now no Sunni can say, oh, you're a Shia, okay, they can say you're kafir, but they can't say, oh, you have a different Quran. Same Quran, same ayat. This also. Look at the miracle. What a time it is. So risking everything, right? And a lot I lost in Karachi with this mental illness or whatever, black magic on me. Oh, time, I salute you. Time took the days I could have spent with my loved ones. What misunderstandings spread, what not. Through me they tried, my enemy. But thank God, Allah or the divine, whoever this divine, help me, truth seeker, and to stick to justice and truth, even it be against me, my family members, my belongings, my things, my comfort, my life. Stand on justice. And I stood, and here I am the most. This is what I would tell the principal also, my beloveds, that I want to give you the truth and nothing but the truth. And I'm concerned about the truth. I told her once in her office also. You pleaded on their behalf. You even killed people, executed them on blasphemy. This is what, you see how far you have been misled. You pleaded on their behalf in this worldly life. But who will plead? One will come on earth. Allah doesn't say that. Okay, let me not boast about our ex-Muslims. Salutations unending to the upholders of justice and truth, and to bring out such a hypocrite. And now again you will say blasphemy. Oh, you can't. You see this here, it shows hypocrisy also of Prophet Muhammad. Here also, not only in Surah Tahrim, Ayat 1, going to please the wise when he should be pleasing Allah. You know, the believers please only whom? Allah. They sell their very souls to please Allah. And he's getting annoyed, and you say, oh, how Aisha and Hafsa annoyed him, that he went pleasing, and what? And about a believer, there's an ayat here, you see? Where is it? Quran. That the believer goes pleasing, he sells his very soul and not regret it. That's the song. To save people from hell, I can sell my soul for my beloved, to save her, someone I love, or him. You see? And not regret it. Not that to live without your love is impossible, but to show you what love is, which is not in this. And of the people is he who sells himself, his soul, or himself, seeking means to the approval of Allah. And Allah is kind to his servants. Surah Baqarah 207. Yet, what did the Prophet do in Surah Tahrim? Went pleasing mardati, pleasure, seeking the pleasure of Allah. No matter what, selling his soul, nafs. We're told the greatest jihad al-kabir, what the greatest jihad is against the self, nafs. You see, here, this, in Surah Baqarah, there again, the Shia, Sunni, Tafsir, Quran experts, Tafsir experts, what did they do? Oh, the wives were really annoying the Prophet so much, that he went And here the believers are supposed to sell their very souls for the pleasure of Allah, to gain the pleasure of Allah. This also. Got it? So like this, so the wrath of Allah, the anger, I'm not saying anger of Allah, like in Surah Muhammad ayats or ayat, who gains the wrath of Allah? This is because they followed that which called forth the wrath of Allah or the anger of Allah. This is a different word. But what is it? Like Alusia said, and he's right. Right. Suppose he's right, right? That Prophet Muhammad gaining the displeasure of Allah, that's why Allah put this, added this to the ayah, that you concealed within yourself what Allah was to disclose. And you feared the people, whereas Allah has more right that you fear Him. You get it? So, as I worked it out, as I studied this ayat, when I studied it and found that yes, you should have gained the disapproval of Allah. And yet this Allah is not the true Allah, because there are contradictions and all this. Previous ayat also of Surah 33, 36 ayat. So all this hodgepodge I had to make sense of and then give you ayat by ayat. Here Allah is wrong, here this is not a true Allah. Here this is Prophet Muhammad is not a true prophet. He's done this, and moreover your own. So if you believe in your own, how they studied it and how they came to this, that to this conclusion about this ayat. Oh, sorry, this is about Idda and others. Surah 2, ayat 35. Oh, sorry, Surah 2, ayat 235. Now, back to the tafsir on Surah 33, ayat 37. See, this is where I got it from. Quran.com on a question arises and it is not appropriate for a messenger of Allah to say this. This means that he's not even come up to the standard of being a messenger of Allah, to that station of his, right? He's fallen short of. Your own religious scholars have said it. So again, this is from Ma'arif al-Quran, not Ibn Khatir abridged, not Tazkirul Quran, on Surah 33 ayat 37, Surah Azab ayat 37. So here it is again, just to show you where they say, your religious scholars in their tafsir, he didn't come up to the station. A little difficult to find for me, if I can find it. It was not appropriate. Where is it? Here it is. From Allah, and the intention of marriage had already crossed his heart. So then the act of hiding this intention and indulging in such formal remarks was not appropriate to his station as the messenger of Allah or as a prophet. You got it? And so they're trying to work out, like, without they're trying to tell you, but he definitely gained the displeasure. This is what your religious scholars have said now. And he didn't even come up to the station of a messenger of Allah, prophet here in this ayat. Moreover, the question that arises here. Let me show you again. So you trust, maybe you don't trust my notes, even now, or you want to cancel it. A question arises here as to why the Holy Prophet chose to conceal this matter, which became the cause of divine displeasure. Divine displeasure only to avoid the taunts of a hostile people. right? And then they may give all these reasons. Baitullah, this is what the Holy Prophet said, so they're giving a hadith of the Holy Prophet. And then as for the event of the marriage, halal and haram, oh God, doesn't go really, doesn't go. Trying to say, the question, why would he gain the displeasure of Allah? Just to avoid the taunts of a hostile people. Oh, Muslim tafsirs, commentators of this ayat. He could have simply told Zed at that time, because the neo-Muslims knew, or, the ones wanting to come perhaps from the polytheists, it would have disgusted them, this act of Allah. They would not have understood why Allah is doing this, right? So that's why he feared the people. Prophet Muhammad feared the people. So if he feared the people, then what could be another option for him? Surah Tahrim ayat, where he confides a secret. So secretly, like he told Hafsa here, and her name is not given, a wife. It's just, Allah mentions a wife of his. So remember when the Prophet confided to one of his wives a statement. So Zaid, I'm telling you because I know you are a quite grounded Muslim believer, that this is what Allah wants, and this is the change, and this is why the divorce will happen, and so you won't have to keep your wife, and you don't have to be mindful of Allah. Right? Confided a secret in one wife. Here he can do this. So he could have not keep quiet. No. When he knows that the thing will take place, I said, you see, Allah using the, first of all, the whole thing is ridiculous. Obnoxious. Even Allah, so where can I step by step show you where Allah, Surah, the previous ayah, then step by step reveal to you. Explain to you, show you. And where this Prophet confided in one of his wives a statement, and when she informed of it, and it was a secret. So she divulged a secret. So Prophet Muhammad confided. So Surah Tahrim, ayat 3. He could have done the same thing, not keep quiet with Zaid, to prepare him. How could he say this? Then Zaid is trying to make two ends meet, North Pole and South Pole. When Allah has decreed a thing, it cannot be changed, or made a thing, it cannot be made otherwise. Excuse me. Excuse me. The juice, I think it's quite sour. But very tasty. I mean, it's kind of, for my throat, sour. Okay, you get it? Now, so what blasphemy now? And how important, never to gain the displeasure. Was it? Surah? You shouldn't. They can hide. Surah 4, ayat 108 also, I'll show you, and 109. So you see what you people have been doing, when even continuing to do, even finding out the displeasure of Allah is on him. And then how did Allah forgive him? So I wondered why your tafsir experts didn't leave Islam after knowing that he gained the displeasure of Allah, Prophet Muhammad, in this ayat. Working it out. They studied it well and they worked it out. And when we work it out, you say, oh, you out of context, and this, okay, Shia coming here, but in this way also, so, but just raising the thing of, oh, you're being out of context. You're being a Sunni. Not all the time am I taking Quran ayats as Sunnis. I'm helping the Sunnis to leave Islam also. There are many tafsirs I don't agree to, or hadiths. See, I don't show the Sunni hadiths that the Sunnis take and like that, like you people show the ex-Muslims 100%. I was just charging my devices here. So this one also done. Just excuse me. So now you what? So what was it? What was I saying? Your so Sunni's tafsir? No, it's just that when I studied this and I read the Sunni tafsir on this, I was like, yes, this is how I learned. This is how, what I came objected. What my objection was about Prophet Muhammad here, that he should not have told Zaid. Oh, this Surah Tahrim, right? Oh God. Okay, so here Alusi says, they've put it this way, so I put it in my notes. So here when I studied this ayat, I didn't even agree to my father what he had said earlier, that when I didn't understand it, but when I studied it and understood it, I was like, my father is wrong. What is the wisdom of Prophet Muhammad here to tell Zaid to keep your wife and be mindful of Allah? And then him concealing in his heart. Allah saying he concealed in his heart what Allah was to reveal. So you don't take Surah 2 ayat for him concealing in his heart and fearing the people. Whereas Allah tells him, and you were concealing within yourself what Allah would display and being apprehensive of mankind, and Allah truly has better right for you to be apprehensive of him. How is Allah telling the Prophet this? He should know this, right? When the believers are told to never fear people, but fear Allah. And the true believers only fear Allah, right? Not the people. And with Jews, who were they who feared the people? They were condemned by Allah, right? They would be condemned by Allah. And the Prophet doing this, so all this I studied, and when I studied it properly, I said, even my father is wrong, that Prophet Muhammad has a divine wisdom to it. And what would the Shia say about this part of that? So now we need to work out whether Alusi, your way, the Muslim way, even your religious scholar is right in saying that this is gaining the displeasure of Allah, the way Allah puts it here in Arabic. That you can study as an Arab, right? But I got it anyways to show you, to go further in this, push it. So Alusi is right in saying Prophet Muhammad. So for the Shias also to see this, help for the Shias, that Alusi, Allama Alusi is right in saying Allah, Prophet Muhammad gained the displeasure of Allah. Moreover, whoever said that it is not suitable, appropriate for a messenger of Allah to do this, so he's fallen low of that standard of a messenger of Allah in this ayat. So Aisha, now we go to the hadith, that Aisha says what? That if the messenger had wanted to cover an ayat, it would be this one. Where's that hadith? I don't remember. I'm not like Christian Prince. So I think, where have they mentioned it? Here also. Zaid sold. Zaid was a bear witness that, and said, son. Here also, and not only in Shia tafsir. Zaid is my son, divorced his wife, he would have married. He would have to marry the divorced lady, but since the Prophet knew what it meant to marry the divorced wife of the adopted son, in the contemporary Arab society, and that too at the time when, apart from the handful of the Muslims, the entire country had become jealous of him, he was hesitant to take any step in that direction. That is why when Zaid expressed his intention to divorce his wife, the Prophet hypocritically said to him, "Fear Allah, be mindful of Allah, and do not divorce your wife." Hypocritically. You see? Now, if I put it this way, you're going to say, blasphemy, blasphemy. What he meant by this was that Zaid should not divorce his wife. Shouldn't. Okay? So that he was saved from facing the trial. Who was saved? So he saved himself, but not this poor Zaid. He didn't prepare Zaid. So Zaid is trying to make two ends meet, and he can't make North Pole and South Pole meet. So Prophet Muhammad saved himself, but not Zaid. So Zaid went back home and trying to make two ends meet. Look what he's done to Zaid, to save his face, to save himself. There, he's done it there also, shy, feeling shy. In the same surah. Ayat number 53 or what? My goodness. Prophet Muhammad is shy of telling you to leave. Wedding guests. But Allah is not shy of the truth. And there Allah doesn't give it to him. That why are you shy of telling the truth? You're my messenger. You're supposed to tell the truth. You're supposed to proclaim it, declare it. That I send a ayat to you and say, now declare. Allah is saying this, not the messenger. What is this? So what he meant by this was that Zaid should not divorce his wife so that he was saved from facing the trial. That he, Prophet Muhammad, was saved from facing the trial from the people of that time. Otherwise, in case the divorce was pronounced, he would have to comply with the command and thus provide a severe storm of criticism and vilification against himself. So Zaid was his defense. But when the Prophet deliberately forbade Zaid to divorce his wife, so that he forbade, right? Because Prophet's command, it's obedience to Allah. Obedience to the Messenger of Allah is equivalent to obedience to Allah. So when a Prophet says something, it means you have to obey. Allah, like Surah 33, same Surah at 36. So a statement of a Prophet to keep your wife and be mindful of Allah means divorce is forbidden, deliberate. But when the Prophet deliberately forbade Zaid to divorce his wife, you get it? This is good. Words, I didn't have words at that time when I started on this ayat. How many years back? 4? 5? Now your own religious scholars are saying, tafsirs, forbade Zaid to divorce his wife so that he himself might be saved from what he forbade. Haram. Made haram on Zaid to divorce Zainab. You get it? Oh my God. I didn't have the heart yesterday to go through this. And maybe today also my heart was, and I was, so, but better than yesterday, yeah? Maybe, you can tell. I say from what he feared and caused him defamation. Allah found this below the high position that he wanted his Prophet to enjoy. Blasphemy, blasphemy. I love your own religious scholars. If I go up, this is, I think, this is Maududi, huh? Ooh, okay. You get it? Now you say blasphemy and I will. पहले इससे साइन कराओ शोले मूवी ब्लास्फेमी We're doing blasphemy. Look, they've studied it well like I would. But they have better words and I agree to them 100%. You're Sunnis. Sunni tafsir. Shia's helping you too. I'll take a break. And the words, and you feared the people. Haha. So the station, so well written here and also there, right? In Quran.com. This is myislam.org and so nice for us. Ex-Muslims, we are one, I think. Now go and tell your write to your governments, Muslim governments, Islamic governments, Sharia courts and all. Please, if you can, lawyers and all, ex-Muslim lawyers, give them this, write us, get it done from a solicitor or, and go to the international court and say, look, these Muslim country courts and laws should not be that we are blaspheming against Prophet Muhammad. We've done honest studying, and this is where we came. So we're saying that, even Allah is saying the way they put it, how to put it. You know how to put it, you're more eloquent than I, even though I've studied law from London. But trauma and all this, deteriorated, traumatized. I can't put it the way you can. So please appeal to international courts and our governments, Islamic governments, not to put the blame on us, ex-Muslims, for blasphemy against Prophet Muhammad or Islam. Please do that. Now, do you get it? How? So, and you pleaded on their behalf in this worldly life. But who will plead with Allah? Oh, I was supposed to show you on their behalf on the day of resurrection. Or who will be their defender there? So can we wait, ex-Muslims, until they, how many would they be threatening to kill and cut them off and throw them and leave them, like ex-Muslim Arisha against her fatwa, and the words used were cut, being Allah, where is it, in my other device, and also the poor engineer, Mirzaji. Please write a letter, take this very seriously. Arisha, fatwa against ex-Muslim Arisha Baba Rajput. A Pakistani Islamist religious scholar, I would call a terrorist, has issued a fatwa against ex-Muslim Arisha Babar Rajput. Babar crossed out, yeah? Rajput. Appealing to the government of Pakistan, to all muftis and Ahl al-Sunnah and Jamaat decision taken against Arisha Baba Rajput, who is on Facebook and YouTube talking nonsense against Islam. However, according to Quran and Hadiths the punishment for this is very severe. Number 1, government of Pakistan immediately should arrest her on 285C. If not, then God knows who. I couldn't get it in his Urdu, so I've translated a little bit, like roughly what this man was saying and what Arisha was saying in Urdu about what this man was saying in Urdu against her. If not, then God knows who reach, and people should immediately assault or attack her, and none of them should have an FIR brought against them, right? Since all of them will be Ghazis, fighters who win in war, fighting Ghazis, meaning fighting for Islam, and the case would be stronger in favor of them, ... she should not be forgiven. Man sab nabiyan faqtuluhu. Whoever blasphemed, I don't know which hadith he's using. Man sab nabiyan faqtuluhu. Whoever blasphemed against the Messenger of Allah, They should be cut and left thus by Jange Ghafir, not audible. Now I can't hear, couldn't get it. So I've tried to translate this in English. She should be killed, and if not, then a Ghazi, who is a warrior who uh, succeeds in war, a Mujahid, Ashik, lover of Rasulullah, Ashik Rasul, one who loves Allah also, and one who gives his life for Islam, should attack her and kill her. Then from our Tanzeen, he will get rupees 50 lakh award. 50 lakh rupees award, and a free lawyer will be given to him for every case even brought against Arisha by him, by anyone. Okay, not audible. Didn't get the Urdu, so whoever she is, so wherever she is found, wherever Arisha, ex-Muslim, is found, she should be killed. In the hereafter you will earn, and in this life you will earn. In the hereafter he will get the intercession of Rasulullah and Rasulullah's neighborhood. He will get, like he will be living with next to Rasulullah in the hereafter. He will get, and this world, Allah will, not audible or didn't get the Urdu, 50 lakh rupees will be awarded. Again he repeats himself. Moreover, he will have a charity scheme set up for him in Pakistan and overseas. ... The Ghazi, the warrior who succeeds in war, killing and all this, will get an award. So a Ghazi set against Arisha, ex-Muslim. A Ghazi is a warrior who definitely wins in war to kill people for Islam. Or wherever she is found, she should be sent to hell. Thank you. Shukriya. Oh, right. Sorry I can't show you this. This is on my other device. Terrible. So, Surah Nisa. Let me take a break, yeah? So, please, this is very serious. So, those of you, make a case, please, if you think this is helpful, against blasphemy. Case against, like, blasphemy of Prophet Muhammad, and send it to your government, Islamic government authorities all concerned. Please, as soon as possible. I'm going to share, I think I've shared this on my Facebook page. Appeal to Pakistan government and all, like president. Yeah, please do that. It's very, very important. Very, very urgent also. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. For your time and attention also on this. And I should now end how much time? 1 hour, 8 minutes. So just this again. Oh. I leave you. Thank you for your time and attention. Appreciate it.
We'll be back. Until then, thank you so much.